opinion.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk About It. I would like to introduce you to my guest, Fuego. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And today's topic will be spiritual journey. So, let's talk about it.
Right. So, what exactly started your journey? Because I know normally that you're the interviewer, you're the one that asks a lot of questions, but I think like it, I would love to get to know you a little bit more and know how your journey started with your spirituality.
Oh wow, this is a first because no one ever asked me any questions yet. um, well, I would say, basically I would represent for everyone all around the world, from what everyone's going through. There's going to be that one day when you just sit down and just analyze yourself, analyze, what you're going through, analyze your process in life, analyze your goals. Sometimes goals transition to different things. And, you have to have that one calling within yourself to like, I need to be happy. I need to be happier, because a lot of people like, set a goal, from what they're doing. But if it's something that that you love to do, you have to, you have to put faith in God number one and believe in yourself, no matter what. It was kind of like a seesaw mission for me because it's like, oh my gosh, I have so many ideas, I have so many great things I love to do, but how can I do this? How can I make this work? How can I, make this happen into reality? And I'm making it into reality right now. And every day is like a shocker for me because I'm actually doing this. I wake up every morning and be like, wow, I'm actually doing what I love to do. And that was kind of like the hardest thing for me in a way, because actually doing it is way different than just dreaming about it or thinking about it. But you have to have the action, because the action always comes before the motivation.
Right.
Like, okay, I want this car, I want this dream car, I have to make the action. I gotta save the money to get the car that I always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Even just a car in general, period. So it's like just doing the action and knowing me becoming a graduate student very soon. And I'm like, yo, this is a reality check right here. I've been in school all my life, and like now I have to put the action towards it. But I really wish
Right.
that I could have done it sooner. But everything has its own time, because I had to master myself to gain the knowledge to know how to do this.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people don't understand how knowledge is so powerful. You know, your talent, your courage, what you want to do makes money for you.
Absolutely.
So, and it's like prayer is power, period, all the time. And I just love prayer, and I had to motivate myself every day. Every day I have to motivate myself, because there's ups and downs, but you always have to stay up no matter what, because it's it's your decision to what you're doing. It's what you're manifesting within yourself. So I have to push myself to manifest myself on what I like to do, because no one's not gonna do it but me.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
and I feel like I don't know. I don't need any approval from anyone to reach my goals. You know,
Absolutely.
I always have to remind myself I can't let my past hold me back, because right now I'm in the present working for my future, and I can't predict my own future because I'm working on it.
Right.
And
Like you're writing the script.
correct,
So
it's all about consistency. It's all about persistence, and I have to push myself every day to be consistent and persistence, because that's the key to make it. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't are not seeing it that way, because they're still trying to figure it out. Everyone has their journey when they're trying to figure out something for themselves. And this is my journey that I'm starting, and I'm really excited about it. I know there's a lot that's coming towards it, but I had to be really in tune within myself to understand more of myself, to get to know myself even more, to be able to get where I'm at right now on this level
Mm-hmm.
within my spiritual journey. And I'm still new to it, but it's been a while, but I still feel like I'm kind of into it, but it's still a process.
Right. And you know what? I feel like, that process, um, there is no deadline. You know what I'm saying? There is no, it's like the process is the process. It's gonna take the time that it needs to take. That saying where we plan and God laughs because we might want the process to look a certain way, be or feel a certain way, and it just isn't. But I just feel like those loops and those ups and downs that we go through during the process is actually um essential to the results that we're going to get. Like if we were to go through the process and the process was smooth, you know what I mean, I don't really think we would get as much out of it as we do when we go through our ups and downs during the process, because I really feel like you said earlier, you just said the action comes before motivation, and and likewise speaking, I feel that the devils become before the level. So if you face, um, your trials and tribulations and things that you're going through to reach your goals, and you don't experience any trials or setbacks in the process, it's not as rewarding. It's not, because you earned that. It's something that, you have pitfalls in the middle of your progress, to deter you. In other words, it's like that devil's advocate where it's like, do you really want to keep going forward now with all these troubles that you're facing? Do you still want to go forward? Is it still something that's going to be your? It's almost like we get our passions challenged, our passions are tested to see if they're really true, authentic passions within us. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that we're going to drop the moment that something happens, we have to know that that's not really our true calling. I think that's where a lot of things arise, where we're in this phase of trying to figure some things out or figure out what we want to do or where we want to go in life, but we're not willing to deal with the troubles that will come with trying to graduate to the next level. You know?
Yeah. It's all about showing your action, and I'm not gonna lie. Um, Throughout my journey, people came and left. People came and gone. Something, we'll start a plan. Okay, let's do this, and like, yeah, okay. The next minute, poof, they're missing. And I had to realize, I had my moments being emotional, like, why would you do this to me? What happened? Like, what happened? What's going on? Why? And I had to realize, people come and go. You know, it says in the Bible, people come and go. Not everyone's gonna be in your journey. Your crowd is gonna get smaller. Your circle is gonna get smaller, and you have to accept that. And
Right.
I had to accept that because till this day, it would confuse me. I wouldn't really understand the process, but I had to realize I had to trust the process.
Right. Right. And the process isn't going to look the way we always intend for it to look
Correct.
either. We just have to know that we have to keep going.
And that's the hardest part that a lot of people doubt on. It's like it goes off and on, but once you just let everything go and give everything to God and just trust the whole entire process, knowing that the universe has your back, you can't
Right. Absolutely.
you can't worry about it. It took me a
Absolutely.
long
I feel
time to
like
realize.
and it does. It takes a while for us to realize certain things. I think that once we realize the things that we need to realize, there's other things that unfold that we need to realize and conquer and understand it, and take what we've learned and put it into action. Especially when it comes to dealing with people. Um, most, if not all, businesses deal with other individuals. Life in general, it consists of having to deal with other individuals. And I just feel like when you know how to um, balance yourself or be one with yourself, it's easier for you to do the same with others on the outside of you, people that you work with, people that you come into contact with on a regular basis, um, things of that nature. I really feel like in order for us to arrive to our goals, it's essential for us to eliminate what no longer serves us. And I know where in my field of line of work, I hear that all the time, and I know a lot of people around me hear that a lot as well. What does that mean to cut off the things that no longer serve you? Now, and to make that very clear, because a lot of people assume that, oh, cutting the things off that no longer serve you, or cutting off people who are no longer paying for things that you want, or being at your whim and your beck and call and things of that nature. But that's not necessarily what we mean when we speak about removing things from your life that no longer serve you. You have to remove individuals from your life that don't know, that no longer jive with your high vibration. Like if you were at a low vibration at one point in time, and then you raise to a higher vibration, basically acknowledging and understanding that you have a purpose in life and that you need to go forth with it. um Other people around you are not on that level. They're not on that high vibrational level a lot of times when we are where we were at one place at one point in time. So when we get to that realization that we need to uh, remove ourselves, if not remove ourselves, remove the individuals, so we can go forward. It's like a traffic jam. You're in the middle of a traffic jam. You look around you, everybody else around you is stuck. Okay. um and you say, no, I have a destination to get to, I have to get there now. Like, something's got to give. At this point in time, when the traffic starts to move slowly, you're looking for outlets to get, to wean your little way into this little area, to get out of that area, to get to this area, and so on and so forth, to keep going forward, to keep going. And then the other people are just sitting there as the traffic is slowly moving. They're not looking for those little loopholes to get through, to get, up ahead a little bit further. They're just staying right behind. You know what I'm saying? I've realized so many times when I've been on the highway and I've been on the road, and there's people who were 30 feet behind me, and then I freaking, push that put the metal to the pedal, and those people that were, I mean, 30 feet in front of me, those people that were 30 feet in front of me are now 30 feet behind me, because I chose to look for those loopholes. You know what I'm saying? Good morning, babe.
And it's crazy you said that, because it's like sometimes people in general, we have to catch ourselves. Oh, and you like, okay, I cut someone off, I don't associate with that person, and you will see that person like what, years later, and you'll like question, why I don't talk to this person? I'm having a great conversation right now. We are connecting so well, and then like once you get to know more, like, oh, MG, wow, oh, oops. Now I know why I cut myself off from this person. You know, not only it wasn't progressive, not only it wasn't persistent, not only it was elevating to not only elevate myself, therefore the other person elevated me. There is no growth, and then it catches you sometimes. You know, and not only that, as you grow older, and age has no maturity, and you have to blend. You cannot change your own personality. You have to be your own persona, and you have to have people to accept you as a person, and that's the hardest thing, because it's like what's going on now. Everyone's doing things just to get accepted because you're already accepted within you.
Right.
The people will come to you. The people that are accepting you will come drawn to you worldwide, all over, and it's okay. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to have your own personality. It's not okay to be something you're not. And that one, I had to notice that. I'm like, OMG, now I see why I can't be around this person, because that person wasn't meant to be in my life.
Right. There are seasons. There are season, reasons, and lifetime individuals. We have to know and learn where to place those individuals, and not try to move them from one category to another. If you are a seasonal individual, then we need to treat it as such, because a lot of times we'll take seasonal individuals and try to move them into that lifetime position. They're not lifetime individuals. They were here for a reason. They served their purpose, and now no longer. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times our attachments to things, um, puts a little turmoil in a lot of where we're trying to go in life, because we try to make something that it's not. You know what I mean? Just like a lot of
Yeah.
people, like you were talking about earlier, try to be something that they're not. They also try to make situations something that it is not. You know what I mean? And I had to learn that for myself. Like I've done a reading for 2021, and I'm on the cusp, Aquarius Pisces, and I did a reading for the collective of Aquarius, and it was funny because as I do these readings, it's interesting to see how it actually relates or corresponds and resonates with me myself. As I'm reading them, I don't resonate with it until later. You know what I mean? Where I remember doing that particular reading, and it said to cherish your friends, cherish the people that are there for the tears and the laughter. And I had no clue what that meant, to be honest, because I'm just like, right now I'm dolo, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing my thing, and I don't really have those people that I can say, oh, friends that were there through thick and thin and crying with me and laughing with me and stuff like that. But long and behold, when you actually take the time to think back on your life and the people that were actually there, even through all the ruckus and the chaos and the drama, but they were still there. And then times later you meet up with these individuals and they're still there. That's when you have to really like say, okay, boom, those people who left my life that I felt hurt by, betrayed by, um, backstab, whatever the case is, they're no longer here, but those things happen for a reason. So whenever something like that happens, yeah, it hurts, it stings for a little bit, but we have to know that those things are happening for a reason. Those things are happening for a purpose. That if that person is talking bad about you or whatever the case is, right? And it ends on a bad term or it ends on a bad note, it's supposed to end. It's supposed to end, period. You might have not wanted it to end in a bad note. You might have wanted things to be, a certain way or have closure. But because it was not meant for you to have in your life for any longer than the time that it was designed for, it's going to end abruptly. And those things we have to take into consideration to say, you know what? I appreciate the experience, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm moving forward towards my tribe, towards the individual that accept me for who I am, for um, just what I have, not even what I have to offer, but the person that I am as an individual, and that essence. You know what I mean? Is something to be treasured. I feel that should be cherished. You know what I mean? I really do feel strongly about teamwork. You know what I'm saying as well. I think that's where meeting up with other people and meshing with other people come into play. You know what I'm saying? You could be a one man band for so long, but even the realest of the realest have to find or have real ones around them. You know what I'm saying? To continue to move forward. It's like that traffic jam that I was just talking about a second ago. If you have a bunch of um, fraudulent individuals that don't know themselves and will refuse to acknowledge you in the way that you um, want to be acknowledged, you're not gonna succeed as much as you would want to unless you soar above those low vibrational individuals and people, places, and things. It's been a long journey for me to realize what's really going on in my life in regards to what's happening in the process of me trying to get to where I want to go. Um, I can't speak for everyone, but I can say that, from my understandings, from what I have experienced in my life, that the individuals trying to soar, trying to move forward, trying to do better with themselves and their life, they're the ones that run into the most turmoil. They're the ones that run into the most havoc, um, the most, if you will, trials and tribulations, setbacks of some sort, shape, or fashion. I never like to speak those things into existence, but those are facts. You know what I mean? And I think that though that's the beauty of it all, the journey. I think the mishaps are the beauty of the journey. You know what I'm saying? Um, it would be nice to go through it without having those loopholes and those setbacks, or meeting up with individuals that just do not meet up with your frequency. But inevitably, to me, it's all beautiful. because I do have a background, a more religious background of Christianity, and even in the Bible it speaks about um not I'm sorry, resisting evil. So do not resist evil. Do not resist the things that seem to be um no good for you. As a matter of fact, go through it, undergo those things. It talks about being in the valley of the shadow of death. You know, those things are the shadow side of us.
Fear no
Those
evil.
are, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? We have to get through these times. It's not about trying to finagle our ways around it or try to take a shortcut or anything like that. It's actually having to go through those things and those trials and those dark times in our lives, because that's the mushroom to Mario, if you will. Okay, like the when you go through those dark times, that's when you evolve. You cannot skip past the darkest moments or the darkest hours of your life and expect some type of evolution. It just doesn't work like that. Even this whole entire world started from darkness, you know?
I'm so happy you said that, because saying like do not resist, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of tricky when the famous quote they say let it go. You have to let it go. You have to accept
Mm-hmm.
life. It was never perfect. No one is perfect. Imperfection is perfection. Nothing has been perfect before you were on this earth. And I feel like only you can control your own frequency. The experience you go through in life is with family, is with friends. You're growing up. As you grow up from birth, you are experiencing. And people think that, oh, you're gonna go through the experience. No, you're growing up to experience. But unfortunately, a lot of people stress themselves. They stress and stress and stress, and you have to let that stress go. Cannot resist it, because good and evil is always there, and only you would know how to balance yourself within that frequency, within your spiritual journey. And
When I think about perfection, I think about a child. When a child is born, what determines them to be imperfect?
well, when a child is born, I know it's a blessing. I know it's a gift from God itself. But that child is not perfect. That child is not perfect, because that child doesn't know anything. So as the child gets older, is trying to understand, is trying to speak, is trying to hear, is trying to see, is trying to understand all of the different qualifications of the human senses. Therefore, that child has extra senses which he or she doesn't know, which is a blessing. But at the same time, as it gets older, you're gonna have friends that are bad. You're gonna have family members that are toxic. You're gonna go through those trials and tribulations. You're gonna grow up with that experience. But it's only up to that child to
What
learn that only that child has to control their own frequency and let it go and don't stress. But that's the hardest part, because everybody's stressing.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because while you were speaking about that, I was thinking more of like I don't know, let's say a mechanical, I don't know, a machine, a car, something that a human has built, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, the just like a child, okay, is born, whether it's born with, defects or whatever the case is, the child was born, right? Just like the way that we create a machine, right? It has all the functional things that it needs to go. Okay, so let's say it's a car or some type of machine or whatever, right? We built a car, and now the car has all the it's equipped with everything that it needs to run. All we have to do is put the key in the ignition and it goes, right? Now, I would never, because I'm very spiritual, I would never, it's 2:55 as I say this, oh Lord. That whatever we create with our bare hands is anything more perfect than what God has created, which is us. And I feel that when a child is born, regardless if they know or not. That's just me looking at a car, whether it's on or not. Okay. It's still born and still created with all, it's fully equipped for everything that it needs. When a child is born, we are already born with the equipment that we need to to thrive through life in life. Period. Like that's how I look at it. I mean, you have children born with defects that are achieving goals out of this world they probably never thought they could. The fact of whether we know about these things or not is not based on whether we're perfect, I don't believe. So in that sense, I would beg to differ, because I do feel as though as we create perfect things that are completely equipped with what we need to get it from point A to point B, or whatever we create to use it for, okay, God has done the same thing with all of us. And I feel that you know, the progress, the process of a child growing from, you know, embryo, infant to toddler to adolescence, teenager to adulthood. Okay, that process in itself is perfect. Okay, that right there, God had created that, and that's how things are. You don't create a child and they don't grow in any other way but in the way that God has intended. And for that, that is perfect with our eyes and our understanding. Hold on. We have another one. We have another guest. Go ahead, speak. It's not. Go ahead. Mhm. 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 Right. Right. And you know, that's funny when she says that, I actually have that channel, Flaws and All, for that purpose. To let people know that, yeah, what our eyes were flawed because our eyes are flawed, but we as the people are perfect. We were created perfect. We were created with everything that we need. We are fully 100% equipped. You know what I'm saying? And being the fact that that's a creation in which we did not design. We didn't know, we did not design the birth of human beings. That wasn't our process of creation.
But you know
The other
what?
things.
I do agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you 100%. But I just feel like the imperfection comes within the process of those
Mm-hmm.
things, what you have to go through throughout that spiritual journey as a child, as a toddler, as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult to this day, even a senior citizen. That part right there, through what you have to go through those stages, is the hardest part ever.
It's hard, but it was still made perfect. It's like a
Yes.
training court. Like when you go to like if you're trying to be, if you're trying to train to be a Marine or Army, Navy, whatever the case is, you have a lieutenant there yelling in your face, telling them, drop down, give me 100,
Oh,
you
yeah.
filthy maggot, did that. But you know what? Within that perfect training, you get a perfect soldier. You cannot have somebody that has not had the experience of being able to train
Yes.
soldiers to train you as a soldier and think that you're going to come out a soldier. That doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So even though
Mhm.
we face trials and tribulations, those trials and tribulations within themselves are also perfect because they were perfectly designed to strengthen us. It was perfectly designed for us to go through those trials and tribulations to mature us. That's what perfection really is. You know what I mean? That truly is what perfection is. You can't have gold without going through the furnace. Even gold is tried, and we hold gold very high in currency. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that, I mean, it's inevitable. We have to go through it, and we cannot expect for us to thrive and be the best of ourselves if we were never even tried.
But you know what? That right there is the perfection. Even though we know we're all not perfect, everyone has something. Everyone has an issue. Everyone is going through something.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a story, which is understandable. But the perfection of us, we don't see that, but we know we have it. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the spiritual journey itself is the process to understand and to realize that we are perfect.
Right, right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely, for sure.
And that's the
Because that
hardest
that
part.
that that right there, that thought within itself that we are not perfect and that we were not made perfect is what creates stagnation.
Yeah. Yep.
I know. It's funny. She says that because I would like to know who came up with that as well. Because even the Bible don't even say that. The Bible does not even say that. For real. The Bible says you are perfect and you are perfect. Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect.
Yep.
Now, it's funny because when you talk to people about God, or you talk to people about, your higher power, your higher self, whatever the case is, they do not correlate that with themselves. So yeah, I get it. If you don't think that you're perfect, it's because you don't think that you have any connection with your higher self or your higher power. Because he's perfect. And he said that we are to be perfect, just like him. And we were what? Made in his likeness. So if that be the case, and that if we are of some type of offspring of his, or some type of creation of his, then we are to his likeness. I mean, even whatever we create uh um is a likeness of us. We create cars, we create phones, we create what everything that we are around us, we created it. It is a replica of us.
I feel like I feel like a lot of people are very stereotypical when it comes to that because I was looking the other day, this young guy in Africa, he built a car that works, that's running from a junkyard, all the pieces just scraps on the street. And this car is running, this car is speeding. This car is like acts like a brand new car with all these pieces and objects. I call that optical illusion of the disguise of beauty itself, on how it actually works. And I believe everyone is beautiful. I believe everyone is perfect. It doesn't matter what color, what size. It's so sad how people look in the mirror and they hate themselves. They hate their color, or they hate how their hair looks, or they just hate how the size they look, and they shouldn't do it that way, because only the person itself has to reconstruct to make themselves a certain way to love themselves even more. You're supposed to love yourself, period. And it's just so sad how a lot of people don't see it that way.
Yeah,
Especially
I
especially
had to mute this for a
mention.
second. I had to mute the mic for a second because a girlfriend of mine, she was, explaining, like, where, and I was listening to you as well about the, I wanted to sum it up as like body shame, or just shaming ourselves. But
Yeah.
um yes, she made it a good point in regards to where it came from. But you know we just spoke about it briefly, and it dawned on me that that really the idea of being imperfect is an excuse to stay where you are. It's an excuse. It's 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 an excuse to be accepted by others. In other words, this is who I am. This is how I want to be. I feel as though it's too hard for me to go any further than where I'm at. So you're going to have to accept me that I'm not perfect. No, because now you'll have people around you, because being the fact that it's the age of Aquarius, you're going to have people around you that are no longer going to be yes men. They're no longer going to agree with you saying, oh yeah, you're imperfect, I'm imperfect, we're not doing that no more. You say you're imperfect, you can be imperfect in your imperfect space. However, what we realize it to really mean is that you choose to stay in that imperfect state, that you choose to stay in that stagnated state of mind, that you choose not to grow and be better than what you know you can be. We all have a, a great uh, destination, if you will. We all have greatness within us. Okay, for us to want to attain greatness and for ourselves is a battle within ourselves. And that's where that excuse, we're not perfect, comes into play, because when it gets too hard, oh, well, I did all I could, I'm not perfect. No, but you are perfect and you can get over those hurdles. And because of those hurdles doesn't make you imperfect, because you struggle to get over those hurdles. That doesn't make you imperfect. The way you look doesn't make you imperfect, like you were saying earlier. You know what I mean? What you have doesn't make you imperfect, or what you don't have. You know, there was a book. I can't remember, but I think his name was Ben, was the author. and he spoke about perfection being actually originated from the Greek language. Um, the word was teleos, and that actually meant maturity. So when you talk about perfection, we speak about spiritual maturity, which is 1,000% attainable. And we always believe that God would never toss anything our way that we can know that we couldn't handle. And with that being the case, then everything that we do get tossed our way is essentially um, meant for a growth spurt, spiritual or otherwise. You know,
So it's
I
like
mean, there's a lot.
perfection is maturity and imperfection is immature.
Right, right.
And I see like, to me, I see, okay, when someone says imperfect, it's like, and when, okay, imperfection, that means it's gonna be okay. You don't need to judge me because I'm not perfect just how you're not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm just putting myself like, okay, I'm mature the same way you're mature. We can't be immature because we are mature as we get older, or whatever age we have to go through to become perfect, to become mature within the spiritual journey.
You said it perfect. You said it perfect just there. What I was trying to explain earlier in regards to the acceptance part of that belief of imperfection. You know, when you can say that person can't judge me because they're imperfect just the way I'm imperfect, and that being accepted. Um, that right there also leads you back to other people holding you accountable for that. So now that you have that idea in your head, well, nobody can judge me because now, you know, we have it understood that no one is perfect. But when we break out of that, then and I'm not gonna lie, like worldwide, it may be universally, it may be a lot of turmoil due to the fact that people are waking up, and due to the fact that when I say waking up, I don't mean woke individuals or people who claim woke. I am talking
Yeah,
about people who are enlightened, um, people who are understanding who they truly are, and they work within their power. Um, and so, you know, like I said, again, we are now going to be holding people accountable to be to walk in their perfection because they are essentially and inevitably perfect. Okay, that in which they don't hold themselves they don't hold their standards up to that, but in fact they are, because they are equipped with everything to achieve greatness in which they truly are. But again, you know, I just wanted to acknowledge you in that because it's true. It's about not being judged. Nobody wants to be judged. So in fact, they use the I'm not perfect to avoid judgment from other people instead of being held accountable to reach their greatness.
I really do agree, and I feel like it's sad because there's so many different categories within the human mind when it comes to conversations, and how some people get offended, some people understand you, some people
Mm-hmm.
debate with you because they don't understand, or they're actually like 1,000 questions. But I believe COVID had a lot of people see a lot within people in general. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm rich. I'm so rich. Now I'm going through all these trials and tribulations due to COVID. My business is going down, or now I have to do this and I have to do that. That's part of being perfect. That's part of the maturity, of being, not only that, being responsible within yourself, but you can't be imperfect, which is being immature, to
Mm-hmm. Right.
more accepting within yourself. Like, I'm not better than anyone else, the same way you're not better than me. But guess what? All of us are better than everyone because all of us are perfect.
All together, we, you know, individually, you know, we have our greatness. Together, we, you know, when we are all in one mind and one accord and understanding the fact that we do exude perfection, it's gonna be a force to reckon with. I tell you that. Um, I hear you. I commend you, by the way, for the work that you are doing, the efforts and the passion that you put behind your work. Um, I really appreciate your authenticity as well. So I just want to acknowledge you for that.
Thank you.
Is
And
there any, is there any questions you have for me? Any other questions you have for me, or any?
questions. No, I don't need to ask you questions. So we're talking about it. So let's talk about it.
I mean, hey, it is what it is. I feel like the conversation, not in a bad way, but it
Yeah.
escalated mighty quick.
Yeah, this is a freestyle. Let's talk about it. It's
and
freestyle.
then and it
Say
definitely
what's
got
on our mind,
extremely
and
deep.
we speak of things that no one really talks about that needs to be heard.
Mhm.
I feel like, having this specific content should be exposed.
Right, absolutely.
I know it will help somebody out there.
Yeah. I mean, to lift the veil of what we know things to be today, to me, it's just going to be a beautiful thing to see. You know what I mean? People understanding that, it's kind of hard because, you get people who are just used to living the way they've always lived, and that anything outside of that or is contrary. Um, it's going to be hard to see some people who are not used to change or do not like change, to see people in their power. Honestly, that is my main goal. My purpose in life is to see, and assist people in, being in their power,
I
and their
agree.
rightful power.
I agree because it's just like how you said. Not everyone likes change. There's
Hmm.
different frequencies. You have to upgrade to elevate. You have to upgrade to elevate because if you don't upgrade to elevate, it's gonna be a problem because not everyone's gonna
Hmm.
frequency. But at the same time, I do respect the ones that don't like change because that's their realm, and we have to know our history from where this new device has transitioned to this new piece. I get it,
Hmm.
but unfortunately, it's not being appreciated as much, but it will be known. Oh my God, you're so old. Oh my God, that's so old. Oh my God, that's back then. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like, seriously?
Hmm.
If it wasn't for this, you wouldn't be able to do this. You know,
Right.
you have to respect that, but at the same time, unfortunately, the future is not being respected from the past.
Right. Right. No, I
But
see that.
there's a very small crowd of the future that does respect the past. Gratefully, the future is gradually grabbing tools from the past to let you know, like, look, this is where it all began.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I know it's we're in March. That's my month. Hey.
Hey, happy
March
birthday.
12th, baby. But I gotta bring up Black history because it shows so much information about that past, and I feel like Black history is every day because every day you learn something, especially within yourself. From whatever race and whatever culture you're from, you're gonna learn every day of yourself, and people don't understand that concept when they say look into the mirror. You have to look into that mirror because this is you, this is I, this is me, this is we, this is your spiritual journey, and you have to love yourself even more because the Bible says not everyone's going to come with you, and that's
Hmm.
part to understand when not everyone's going to come with you.
Right. Absolutely. I
So anything else you
I'm in
want to
thought right now.
say?
I'm definitely in thought for sure. Because then even like you said with the Bible said, God, he, she, whatever, however you guys want to resonate with it,
Yeah.
um, is
uh,
going to do a new thing.
yeah.
It's going to do a new thing, and I feel, in this day and age, we're duplicating the stories of the Pharisees. You know what I'm saying? We have our modern day Pharisees, which do not respect the future. Um, hmm, they didn't, when if you want to go into, Messiah and stuff like that, they didn't recognize him when he came, according to the Bible. So now that new things are coming about, I feel that the individuals that are stuck in the past, and or just refuse to embrace the future, for what it is, Again, we cannot say, oh, well, this isn't the way things are supposed to be. This is the way things are, you can't say that, like, oh, this isn't the way it's supposed to be when this is the way it is. You got people that are ascending, if you will, spiritually. And you have other people that tell you you can't do certain things in your 3D life versus your spiritual walk or your spiritual life. They'll tell you you have to be, ordained, or you have to this, that, and the third in order to walk in your power. And honestly, I have to disagree, with that, because you know I don't entertain church the way I used to. However, I've always taken my spirituality very seriously, even before I walked into the church doors. Very spiritual, very serious about my spirituality. And I've taken my Bible home. I've studied to show myself approved. Um, and that is what the Bible tells us to do, to rightfully divide the word of truth, and study to show yourself approved of God. Um, I've done that for myself, you know what I mean? But a lot of people are still cookie cuttish at this present time, relying on only the man at the pulpit versus the God they claim they serve. Um, to each his own, you know what I'm saying? However you acknowledge your higher power, your higher self, um, is entirely up to you. My thing is, whatever line of spiritual, wherever level you're in with your spiritual journey or your spiritual walk, um and or religiously as well, wherever you're at in your walk, um just be there, be present with it. You know what I'm saying? I feel as though religion is the womb of spirituality, where you're introduced to something outside of yourself or something greater than yourself. Um, and with that respect, it should be sought after in a very individual, intimate, sacred manner. I
Yeah.
feel that's just my personal opinion. When an individual takes that route with it, um, it's more intimate. You get a greater understanding of the characteristics of in whom or what you serve. In yourself, and within yourself, you get a greater understanding of yourself. But if you are constantly going into a facility or organization or church, um, to listen to the person who has already had their, pre-plant their verses and their scripts at that pulpit, I mean, you completely skipped everything that woman or man did at that pulpit. They took the time, they took, their notes, they, meditated upon what they were going to speak about at the pulpit the night before. Okay. And whereas you're just there, preparing to listen to, rather than actually doing the work yourself to get a closer relationship with your higher self or your higher power, to be in your power again. I feel as though a lot of people give their power away when they just go there with a pen and paper just to be ready to jot down and be at the whim of their ear, at the whim of the person who's speaking, um, without having their own relationship, with their higher power. The Bible says, lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge me. He didn't say in all my ways, he said in all your ways. So in fact, we have to dissect what that really means. What does that mean? If you say, don't lean on your own understanding, but acknowledge me in all your ways, that means go your way, but seek me for knowledge. Seek me for the wisdom, seek me for guidance. Okay. Um, and yet not to completely shun the idea of you having any direction whatsoever, because clearly it says your way, in all your ways. Okay. So in other words, it's like saying, I'm going to get in a car and I'm going to drive it. I don't know how to drive stick. Instead of me looking at the manual, I'm just going to figure it out my own way. I feel that scripture right there is really talking about, because it's like, okay, You could get in the car, you can go wherever destination you plan on going. Um, but let me guide you. If you don't know how to work a stick shift, look in the manual. I'm your manual. Let me help you. Let me guide you. If in fact you decide that you're gonna drive this stick that you don't know how to drive to your destination without acknowledging me, well, you're probably gonna blow a clutch. You
Yep.
understand? So I just feel like, we need to really take into consideration of getting back into whatever we are brought up in, whether that be Christianity, Hinduism, Muslim, Islam, whatever it is. You read the Bible, you read the Quran, you read daily inspirationals, you listen to tarot. To me, it's all one and the same, and it's all connected. We just have to understand what is what for us. You know.
I'm happy you said that because the topic is spiritual journey, and spiritual journey defines, like as you said, your ways. Your ways
Mm-hmm.
define yourself. Yourself, which is define you. You as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that needs to be told because the spiritual journey comes within you. The mind is a very terrible thing to waste. And your mind and yourself and your journey within your spiritual self is the perfection of the journey from what everyone's going to go through, the spiritual journey, to understand yourself. And that's the hardest part, to like see, you got to sit back and think like, man, I really gotta think about this.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate definitely having this talk and have this conversation and diving deep into, the spiritual journey. Okay.
Definitely.
I really do hope that, it helps other individuals in understanding
Yeah.
that, they have greatness within them and they should walk in their power. It is their calling to walk within their power to reach their greatness.
Definitely. So we're gonna wrap this up. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining us on Let's Talk About It. And the quote from my t-shirt design for the month is "Action comes before motivation." Check out my website for that design and merchandise of my artwork. And don't forget to check out Fuego's content. That will be in the bottom description.
P.